I got to be honest with you guys. I mean, our next car, fuel economy is probably not going to be a thing with this one, if I'm totally honest. But, that is why we do what we do. We do some real, Kyle, Zach, I don't know if you realize this, but we do some real, serious consumer search and explanation here. I mean, I'm really, really proud of this next segment because I feel like we're fighting the good fight for the consumers. Not even for us. It's for the consumers. You know what I'm talking about? We're doing it for the people. Literally, I feel like
the people. I do it for Dale.
Coy does it for Dale. I do it for the people. Either way, I don't want it to sound communistic, but I just want everyone out there to know that, we take this very, very seriously. And we do this next segment pretty much just for your own information. You're welcome.
Smoking deal or smoking Adobe.
And what a deal or doob we have, you guys. I remember when people were making these, it was honestly when the Focus first came out was when I first started seeing there was a company, as a matter of fact, that I think was doing these swaps. Let's break into it here. The 2003 Ford Focus, but it is rear-wheel drive and V8 swapped with a manual. They did it the right way. Zach, knew you'd appreciate that, son.
I definitely do. Now, I love the concept of a rear-wheel drive hot hatch. I grew up with MGs or MG shooting brakes, MG BGTs and whatnot. And then I graduated to like Volkswagen GTIs and whatnot. So I totally get the hatch fascination. And I love that it's rear-wheel drive. But if you watch the videos of this, it doesn't seem super fun to drive anywhere but in a straight line.
Really?
Yeah, I felt like the guy was fighting the car around the track. And I understand that you have some of that when you have a fun car, but it seemed like more work than anything. And I was trying to, in my mind, figure out why this was. I even looked up wheelbase and track width and compared it to, say, a S13 240SX. And the Focus is bigger in both wheelbase and track width. So it's not bad. I'm wondering if it's weight distribution or what the deal is,
or driver mod. I'm just throwing that out there. It could be
driver mod.
You always got to remember Ford probably did $10 million worth of research into Ford Focus suspension for a front wheel drive car. And then someone shoehorned a rear wheel drive engine in here. And I'm guessing this is straight axle rear.
It is definitely a straight axle rear.
So, yeah, it looks that way. So, as a matter of fact, let's go through some of these mods, you guys.
And what do you think they have into suspension research? 18
nothing.
And some forums.
It kind of looked like some sort of off-the-shelf coilover in the front, and then your typical QA1 setup in the rear.
Some kind of hot rod kit in the rear.
It looked like a drag setup in the rear. I mean, granted, it has a triangulation link for some cornering.
Are you guys hearing that too?
Yeah.
Somebody's cords doesn't like it. Oh,
it's going away.
And my phone was too close. Sorry about that. Good thing we're recording this. All right. So it's got that's what it is. My microphone. It's got a fuel injected 5-liter V8 paired with a Tremec 5-speed manual transmission and a 3.73 to 1 limited slip rear differential. The engine, transmission, and 8.8 inch solid rear axle were fitted with fabricated braces and mounts. The engine has GT40 cylinder heads, a Cobra intake manifold, a Ford Motorsports camshaft, a Pro 5.0 short shifter assembly, 17-inch SVT wheels, adjustable rear coilovers, SVT spec bumpers, and a whole host of other things.
I'm sorry, GT40 cylinder heads? Like he got the cylinder heads out of a GT40?
That's just the GT40 style.
Okay.
The old Ford Performance catalog.
Okay. I was like, somebody crashed a GT40 and this dude got a hold of the heads off of one. That's pretty crazy. But
I mean, technically you could find these on, actually the intake from a 99 2000 Explorer V8.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just to be clear, we're not talking about the Ford GT supercharged motor stuff.
No.
This is we're just calling it a GT40 style.
This is what the code was in the Ford Performance catalog back in the 90s, I guess.
So don't think of it so much as GT40. Think of it more as JT30. You know what I mean? Yeah, Merca. I like the look of it. I truly do. The thing about Ford Focus wheels is they have got a weird bolt pattern. I think it's 4x108. It's an odd bolt pattern. Yeah. Ford Focus wheels were a little bit hard to come by. A lot of people think that they're 4x114, and they're not. There's something in between. I think it's 4x108.
It's that European tune suspension.
Bingo. Yes, exactly.
They transferred over as much as they could.
We're going through some photos here. Of course, the link to find all of this is underneath of the podcast. So if you're listening to the podcast and audio, you can just hit any one of the links in the description below. Also, if you're watching along on the video and you want to go and check this thing out for yourself, the links are posted underneath this video as well. So go ahead and jump in there and check that out.
This thing is still for sale, folks. So you got 4 days as of the recording of this podcast to.
I figured out why it's not sold. The air conditioning system does not work.
He's in Texas. That's a deal killer, guys. I'm from the South. Y'all don't want no part of Texas heat without AC.
You know what I would tell everybody when they asked what was going on? I'd tell them it was the Cosworth Performance Package. Remember they made these Focuses with a Cosworth Performance Package? I'd just be like, yeah, it's Cosworth.
SVT, bro.
SVT. Special Vehicle Team. Rob.
Let's check this driving video out.
Yeah, definite driving.
Yeah. You're right. It does kind of look unruly, Zach. I'll give you that.
I could see this thing launching straight drag racing would be just killer.
Play that again. It seemed like an insane amount of body roll considering.
Well, that's what I was saying. It looks like cheap.
Look at that body
QA1s in the rear. Just your general.
Yeah.
He spec'd out with Summit Racing.
And when it catches traction, you see the body throw the opposite direction. That's not a good sign.
And he knew he didn't have it all the way around that cone. Like,
yeah.
Like he was a quarter of the way through. He's like, you know what? I'm just going to finish this.
He felt it start to go and was like, good. Die already.
I like this, actually. We're watching a video of him launching this thing, and it so clearly is wheel hopping.
But it's also not as loud as I thought it would be with the front, bumper
Right.
exits.
I'm laughing because we don't have the audio on right now. We don't want to get zucked,
Oh, man.
The sound of 5-liter V8's gonna zuck you.
Well, we've had videos pulled down for Stranger Things, trust me.
We played the Dodge TRX truck advertisement and they copyright struck us. It's like it's an advertisement.
They should be paying you.
Yes. I think Andy told them to suck his and balls
Yeah.
Wow.
in the email and screamed at Dodge on air, and then they said like 3 weeks later they changed their mind. So
Those algorithms don't work worth the darn though, because I get emails to our Pass Power email box, my official working email, about an eBay seller who's selling something with a similar name, and they have identified us as that eBay seller, which we don't sell on eBay. We don't sell our products on eBay. But I get these takedown notices. And I'm like, I've sent nice emails. I've sent nasty emails. They just keep sending the emails. Somebody's gonna get. If I get a service for selling things that I'm not selling, I'm not gonna be thrilled.
Sure.
But this is all algorithm based, and then they have these lawyers that literally just feed on the whole copyright. We are literally digging for anything that could be possibly. You've got a picture of a book in this video. We're gonna sue you now.
They couldn't get that DA slot, so they're gonna cut their teeth on PPI.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, I wouldn't stop making fun of the dude's comb over and spray tan, like obvious spray tan. He had white around his eyes, and then the rest of him was orange. And I'm not talking about Trump orange. I'm talking about like matching the burnt orange color that was on the TRX orange. I couldn't stop making fun of him because it was so funny to me seeing his face that brightly burnt orange. But either way, we got it lifted. We got our video back, and cheers to Dodge. I'll still never buy one. Fuck those guys.
Stellantis. We don't call them Dodge anymore. That's the name of the past. That's the old name. It's
technically
Stellantis.
it's Ram trucks now.
Yeah.
May cause diarrhea.
Well, I'll tell them where to ram it. We're looking at the rear suspension right now. Kyle, what were you saying about this?
Yeah, to me, it just looks like a general drag setup. I mean, it doesn't look like anything designed for autocross handling. It does not look like it was set up properly for this car. Now, I remember when you were talking about the companies that came out with the conversions when these first were released, they did an 03 Cobra SVT supercharged V8 with the 6-speed and the full IRS setup in the back. I mean, supposedly it was almost a dang near bolt-in for the rear, which strikes me as odd that this person decided to go with a live axle. And now I know there's several companies out there that pretty much make a bolt-in if you have a donor Fox body.
Mhm.
And obviously it makes sense just to, transfer the live axle. But to me, just watching it drive around the track, it doesn't look like fun. It just doesn't.
I somewhat agree with you on that. It has a certain there's a factor there. I don't know exactly what to call it, but I mean, you see a Ford Focus. This one, frankly, it looks very stock. I mean, looking at it, I don't think a person would be able to tell necessarily, unless the engine was running, that it's V8.
Oh, it's super sleeper from the photos. I
Mhm.
mean, you wouldn't unless you got up under it. And if you wanted something to take to the meet to show off and be like, let's pop the hood. And, oh, wow, this is really neat. But in terms of what he's trying to pitch it as a track car, like he's got all these track videos, I just don't think it would be that great to drive. But
It just looks like you'd get on a mountain road and try to drive spiritedly and then die.
Yeah.
Like, and you wouldn't be going that fast. You'd just be like, crap, I can't control it. Well, I guess I'm going over this cliff now.
game over.
Yeah.
I feel like it has snap oversteer worse than an AW11. It just watching him trying to drift around that single cone.
He makes Thanos snap look small. Thanos snap was weak AF, and the way this thing snapped.
Well, so maybe this is somewhere in between a kit and a homebrew. Probably that's what's keeping the price a little bit lower. It is currently bid up to $7,070. I feel like the ones that were done early on that had the full Terminator set up in them are probably fetching considerably more.
Was that Saline that was doing those, or was it another company? Or did Saline do it as well as a few other companies?
I feel like SVT actually just played along and actually did one. I can't quote myself on that because I it's been a long time since I've read that particular Sport Compact car that I learned about these kits, but I feel like they were the actual ones who pioneered that. But several companies had spinoffs.
Didn't Saline, there was actually an actual like Saline run of Focuses, wasn't there?
I was just thinking to myself, was that Saline or was that Shelby? It was Saline, wasn't
I
it?
think it was Saline.
I think
Didn't
it was
Celine also have the nitrous one?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And it was the
It was the one you voided the warranty if you filled the bottle.
Yes.
Yeah.
and it was a Nitrous Express. It wasn't even NOS. It was like an
It was
off-brand
a
nitrous.
knockoff.
I
Yeah,
thought it
That
was
launched
Zex.
Nitrous Express or
Yeah,
Zex.
It,
one of
but
the
it was
two,
one
yeah.
of those like Nitrous Express Zex, but it wasn't even NOS, which I was like, you couldn't get NOS to. Yeah, I don't know.
Somebody self-respecting at NOS was like, you can't actually use the kit. Now we're good.
Yeah.
I feel like somebody at Saline's like, my nephew is the marketing manager over at Nitrous Express, and he's totally gonna hook us up. And like anytime you watch like a CW TV show and they have a live band in the back, you're just like, okay, your niece is in a cover band. Good. I'm glad you put this on here. Force me to listen to it.
Mhm. Unless you're talking about the new Batwoman Batmobile, and then it's like, they had a very limited budget.
Well, there's that.
It's literally just a C7 Corvette. C7, C6?
I
think
can't
it's
say
Batwoman.
that I've
I don't
watched
know.
the Batwoman.
I was gonna say I haven't seen this.
Does Batwoman like jump out in New Balance shoes with grass stains on them, or
If you saw the new
Jorts.
Batwoman
shorts
costume,
with extra pockets?
I told you the other day, I started watching Angel again
Mm-hmm.
from 1999.
Yeah.
I feel like it's held up better than just the first season of Batwoman.
Well, and then didn't the Batwoman change? Like she quit and
Oh, yeah, the
and
first-
so there's a new one.
Yeah,
for
the
the
first
second
season. Yeah, the first season Batwoman's like, I'm out of here.
I haven't seen any of this. Did they actually like play that in, or are we all just supposed to pretend it's the same person?
It would have been smarter if they had done that, honestly. But instead, it's like the old Batwoman's like, all right, peace, I'm out. And the new Batwoman's like, oh, I just found the bat suit, and now I'm entitled to be the new Batwoman. And basically, the first episode is them saying, no, you found the suit, but we need it back. And she's like, no. And then there you go. Season 2.
if I found
season. Squatters' rights.
if I found
it's set in Portland. You didn't know that?
Oh,
Yeah, Oregon loves squatters. I
Explains it
tried to
all.
buy a rental house once and it didn't end as well as it could have.
We in fact yesterday while we were driving through Portland, we saw all the new additions to the side of the highways.
Mhm.
All these palatial estates that have been built. We're
Did you-
jealous.
Did you see the one with the garage by
It's off
PIR?
Yeah, so
Yes, it has
that,
a sweet garage.
that used to be a great road that we used to street race on in high school. Was right off there.
Well, if you
Mhm.
break down, there's a sweet garage you can
Yeah.
work on your stuff in. Just lay out.
I was thinking about that very thing. I was like, man, we could have just pushed it right into his palatial estate.
Yeah.
It's like the spray in GTA
Yeah,
where
exactly.
you can spray
The pay and spray. Yeah, the pay and spray. I think it's super convenient because you roll in there and you get a new stereo and then it gets stolen again. It's like the circle of life, you know?
Which makes me think, though, if we could bring back some of those street racing scenes, can you imagine, like, you would come out and set up your own tarp garage, and then when the cops got in, you just whip through the grass and just whip it and throw the tarp down. Just, you'd have to be pre-dressed as a homeless guy,
Yeah,
obviously, and then just sprawl out on the ground by it. The cop would be like, he turned right. Oh, wrong. Nope, he didn't turn
You
here
know,
for sure.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
I feel like we should actually start that. Like we should.
It would be a viral video.
Would it be
for
bum
sure.
races?
I don't know.
Ooh.
We might get sued for
Dude, you
even
can
using
call it
that.
bum rush.
Oh my god.
Yes.
We really need to do this.
I'm-
This is a real
I'm
thing.
taking-
Bum
20%.
rush, yeah. Bum rush the world.
No, that's a
Don't
really
get
good
girl.
idea.
Bum rush. Woohoo.
I hadn't even thought about
Hey,
that.
listen,
Wow.
we're getting way off topic, and I got to be able to chop this up into segments. So that is our Smoking Dealer, Smoking a Doob of the day. If you guys know anything about these cars and you want to give us insights, if it's a deal, if it's a doob, let us know. We're going to go around the table real quick. Matter of fact, let's start with you, Kyle. What do you think?
I'm definitely thinking he's smoking a doob on this one.
It's $7,000.
Yeah, I've seen SVT Focus prices. I know what they're worth. I know how much
In
I can-
front wheel drive from.
Correct, and I know what the kit costs. I really do think he's smoking a doob on this one.
Coy?
I'm probably not as good a mechanic as him, and if I was, I would never use my time to do this. But for $7,000, it's a car with an engine that's been rear-wheel drive. Just as a burnout machine, I feel like while I won't buy this because it makes me have acid reflux just looking at it, I feel like $7,000 not a bad price. I feel like that's fair right now.
Zach?
I'm gonna say smoking a doob. It's just at $7,000. There's a cornucopia of selections and what you can buy and not buy. And I just, as cool as it looks, and as like I said, as much as I like the idea of a rear wheel drive hot hatch to go hoon around in, I just don't think this is the one. I think you could probably get a better converted one for roughly the same price if you just wait long enough. Of course, if you got to have it now, you got to have it now.
I'm honestly split. I'm truly split. I see what you guys are talking about. I'm kind of with Coy though. 7,000, man, that doesn't seem bad for what the car is. And as bad as the car seems to be with that dude at the wheel, I do think with a little bit of money and time, you could make it something pretty special. And I don't think you'd be $10,000 into it.
I will say, he's kind of throwing this out there as like a sweet track car that he's built. I'm just pretending that he hasn't said that. It's just, this is not a sweet track car. Just
No,
straight
and-
up. There's
and
so much better. For
I know he
$7,000.
has more than $7,000 in building this thing.
Yeah.
So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that there wasn't money spent on this car. I just don't think it was spent wisely.
I agree with
Fair
that.
enough.
I agree with that.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. So listen, this is the part where you guys get involved. You jump in, let us know it's a deal. It's a do. We want to hear your thoughts. You're obviously going to know more and or less than we do. So, give us your thoughts and tell us what you think about this thing. But for us, we're landing on basically a dead split here on a deal or a doob.
Smoking deal or smoking a doobie.